Arsenal beat Tottenham 3-1, but the scoreline doesn't tell the whole story. Today I'm going to be offering you guys my reaction to the North London derby. Now, for those who watched the game, you would have seen a complete contrast between two styles, an attractive style of play and a not so attractive style of play. But of course, both teams in the build-up to this were grinding out results. Now, obviously, the way Arsenal were going about it was a much more attractive, emphatic way than Tottenham, who only really showed that the system was truly working in an emphatic sense with the demolition of Leicester, assisted by yours truly, Heung-min Son off the bench. And of course, the Conte's side has come for a lot of criticism, but before this game even was played, they hadn't lost a Premier League game since April, so clearly it was something that was working for them. And now that they've lost, everyone's jumping on Conte's neck, saying that the system is this and the system is that. Obviously, if you look at the actual game and you look at how everything was played, you could see that Tottenham were trying to soak up the pressure and catch out Arsenal on the counter-attack. That's how they play. It's not like they're going to change the style of play against who they play against. And then you have Arsenal who at first under Arteta actually were playing a very reactive style of play. A lot of defending. But you can see he's slowly, over the time he's been given by those in charge of Arsenal, has built up an attractive style of play. Now they're all about controlling the ball, possession. And I think before this game even started, an obvious tactical decision Conte should have made was play the 3-5-2 system, which works so well against Leicester, instead of the usual 3-4-3 that he likes to play, simply because of the fact he just leaves the midfield so exposed and so much more vulnerable to being overrun. Arsenal with Odegaard and then Xhaka and then Partey completely controlled the game in midfield, and Højbjerg and Benteke, they tried and they ran, but they really couldn't get control of the game. What can you do when there's 3 bodies against 2? It's naturally, this is what's been happening to Tottenham all season. Just put the extra body in midfield and try to control the game. If only if it was that simple. But the front three of Kulusevski, Kane and Son have been working pretty well this season, especially Kane and Kulusevski. And, because of the connection those three create, it's worth sacrificing that body in midfield, because when they get the chances in advanced positions, they're going to create something and they're going to most likely score. That's what's been happening since Conte's been in charge. But unfortunately, it hasn't worked quite as well, you could say, this season, even though it's still delivering results. And this game, as well as the Chelsea game, is where you could say the most troubling performances have come, as well as the West Ham game as well, which is also underrated, poor performance. As you can see, there's nothing to see, but you get what I'm saying. As you can see by the performance, what happened with Tottenham is that, anyone that will watch this game who's more of a casual will say that, Arsenal completely dominated the game. 3 goals, dominated the ball. Tottenham didn't create nothing. Well, at the beginning of the game, Arsenal dominated, scored the goal from Partey, which was a quality goal as much as I hate to admit it. And then Tottenham slowly grew into the game, won a penalty, scored the penalty, and then put on the pressure before the end of the half. They actually ended the half on a decent note, and you could start to see the team growing in confidence in their performance, and they were growing into the game. Because the last couple of North London derbies, the home team has just run away with the game for various reasons. They've just been in control. And this game seemed like it was going to be really, really different. Different to most games you've seen the most North London derby games we've seen in recent times. But, Son had a lot of chances on the counter where he could have put the right ball in. Richarlison could have put the right ball in, but they just didn't have the final pass. And Conte said that after the game, it's the lack of cutting edge there. And Tottenham missed Kulusevski. They really missed Kulusevski. And, Kulusevski offers that quality in the final third, the right timing of pass, the right accuracy, and all of that kind of stuff. And, Richarlison and Son, they run hard and They're very skillful, talented players in their own right, but they don't have that type of quality that Kulusevski has, and even Kane does with the final pass. So, as much as they tried, you can see that unfortunately there was chances to be made there. And although Richarlison worked hard to win the penalty, and Son also got himself in some good positions, he couldn't quite put the final pass in, and ended up coming back to bite Tottenham in the butt, because in the second half, a player that's caused much controversy was continued selection throughout the season so far in Emerson Royale. Emerson Royale, a man that many people don't even think is actually first choice at Tottenham Hotspur in the right wing back position, but continues to somehow play despite sometimes putting in questionable performances. Now, before this game, I would say his overall season hasn't been that bad. He hasn't been that terrible. There's been worse players than him, even though people would love to exaggerate because it's Tottenham. Everyone hates Tottenham. Out of the big six teams, they're the ones you can pick on because they don't have anywhere near the level of success the other five teams have had historically. Unfortunately, especially in recent times. And, Emerson, you could say he's one of the many scapegoats that exist at Tottenham Hotspur, but unfortunately this one's all on him. I'm not going to defend him because I've been saying that Doherty should be starting. Obviously, I know about his injury situation where he obviously damaged his MCL, and it's been a tough recovery for him. But it looks like he's almost at full fitness, but it's going to take some time for him to get back up to speed. I understand that, but we also signed a guy from Nottingham Forest who happened to be the best right back in the Championship last season in Jed Spence, who cooked Arsenal in the FA Cup, mind you, last season. Of course, completely different game, completely different teams. I get that. Different Arsenal, in fact, But you would assume that maybe he would have given more of a chance this season. He only came on as a winger against Nottingham Forest. From what I can remember, he might have played more games, but I don't think he has. But honestly, it's just like, point is, Emerson did what we all were worried he could do, and that is to completely cost Tottenham a match. And, of course it was 2-1. Lloris, you could say Lloris's error, but you could say it's a bit of a bad luck. The ball, he made a great save and the ball came off Romero's foot and it went underneath him. That's just unfortunate, of course, because Lloris is probably the most slandered on keeper in the league. They're gonna just come for his neck and say, oh, it's a bad error, it's a poor mistake, disaster class, all of that. But Lloris has been one of the best goalkeepers in the Premier League since he got to the Premier League. But people continue to question him because, of course, he's made mistakes in the past. He's even made mistakes in what you call the biggest football match you could play in as a football player, which is the World Cup final. So, unfortunately, he does have a reputation for mistakes, but I don't think this one is up there with some of them, to be honest. But, we were 2-1 down, Tottenham 2-1 down. Like he's saying, I'm trying to pull myself out of this because, as you might know, I am a Tottenham fan, but I'm trying to pull my way from the situation, okay? Tottenham were 2-1 down. You could still say they had a fighting chance because you could just say they could just bounce back, make it 2-2. And then Emerson does one of the most confusing challenges I've seen. Like, to even think about putting a foot there, when he's running towards his goal is nonsensical. It doesn't make sense. It's almost like he was angry with the way he ran him ragged all game, even though I felt like he actually contained Martinelli quite alright, to be honest. As soon as he got sent off, Martinelli then set up Xhaka for the third, and then it was game over. You know what I mean? So, the reason why I've been able to personally try and justify Royale's position in the lineup is because of his defensive qualities and his physical abilities. But attacking-wise, he just doesn't seem to have it. He doesn't have it. That's why he's watching clips of Hakimi, because he needs to try and learn from him, how he performed under Conte, so he can be better attacking-wise. That's ultimately what it is. And that's why he had to do what he had to do. And learn. And get an oxygen chamber as well. So much money invested to show absolutely no improvement. But like I was telling people, I think it's going to take him time. So you should just keep him on the bench for now. This 3-game suspension will give a chance for him not to be involved. And maybe Spence and Doherty will be given more of a chance as these games pass by. Overall, obviously people are going to look at this game and be like, Arsenal dominate, deserve the win. Arsenal deserve the win, you could say that, but you have to remember that Tottenham style of play, they're not going to dominate the ball. They're going to get the ball, get it straight to the front three, and create chances through those three guys. Problem is, one of them wasn't fit. What would be logical is to probably just put an extra man in midfield, play Kane and Son, and then put on Richarlison as an impact sub later on in the game if needs be. Basically, that would have been the smarter way to have done it. The rest of the lineup to me was fine. maybe just putting Basuma there would have probably helped with the solidity and helping close down Arsenal's creative outlets. Because I'll be honest, the likes of Saka and Martinelli, they were threatening, but not decisively threatening. Dare I say it, that's just how I feel watching the game. Jesus was the real danger man. He was making a lot of things happen on the pitch. Xhaka is continuing his evolution into a box-to-box midfielder, if not even more an attacking midfielder now. It's quite crazy to see his transformation from this guy swearing at Arsenal fans to like now being one of their most loved players again. So you gotta love him, and it's good for him in that sense. It's a career comeback on the scale of Logan Paul, but honestly, the performance isn't as bad as it was if you're a Tottenham fan like myself. Because if you look at it, if it wasn't for the red card, does it really become 3-1? It might be 2-2. It might even be 2-3. Like, imagine that it could have been 2-3. Hey man, who knows? We're not gonna ever know now because Emerson's a stupid prick. But but the thing is, the game was there, and obviously there's different ways of controlling the game without having the ball, and that's what Tottenham did, and that's what Tottenham do under Conte. All right, a lot of people would like to make comparisons towards Mourinho, and I understand it, but the attacking vigor and clinicality wasn't there under Mourinho. Maybe because he didn't have the players. I say player because all really Conte has done is add consistency to those two, and boom, they're lethal, and put more emphasis on the wing backs and all that kind of stuff. But overall, it's just like, this is just how Tottenham played. They controlled the game by containing you offensively and then catching you on the break. Arsenal knew this was going to be the case. That's why Ramsdale was up on his box and they were trying to play a high line. Naturally when you play against Tottenham, you're going to play a high line because you have so much of the ball. That's just how it is. So, like, Arteta did well on the tactical sense to prepare for that. And Conte, unlike the Chelsea game where he actually changed the system halfway through, I felt like he changed the system because he kind of had to shut up shop, but he put a 3-5-1 to make solidity in midfield. And guess what? Defensively, they were more solid. Now, Arsenal still controlled the game even more now because obviously the man advantage. But after that, there was no more goals scored. But then it's just something that Conte needs to look at. Maybe looking at making subs earlier. Maybe if you took off Emerson, then this wouldn't happen. But one would hope that Doherty isn't quite there yet, and once he is, then he will be given the opportunity to play. I'm not saying Doherty's a game changer, but he's just another cog in the system that will be able to help fully execute Conte's game plan. Because when you play a very defensive game plan like Conte does, very conservative, very pragmatic style of play, you're going to need everyone to do the job perfectly. The better the team, the more perfect, the less mistakes you can afford to make. And also, obviously, Arsenal have grown to be a good team, and you can't afford to make mistakes against them. And if you want to play that style of play, you need to be almost perfect, if not perfect. And Tottenham, they weren't perfect. Let's just put it that way. But obviously, now everyone's looking around saying, "Are Arsenal title contenders?" It's still too early. We're not 10 games in yet, so we need to just calm down. They lost 3-1 to United. And, this game was tough for them. And they've shown their true colours. But just like when Tottenham go to the bridge, going to the Emirates for Tottenham, it's just not something Tottenham can do. And they can't go to the Emirates or Stamford Bridge and win. These are the two bogey grounds. And they managed to get a point at Stamford Bridge, which many people think was undeserved. And then, obviously, they lost here. But Arsenal, contenders, we'll have to wait and see. It's too early to tell. You don't want to make any predictions. I did something like this a couple of years back. If you refer back to my old episodes, and I was kind of off. So it's just good to watch the season progress. We all know that City will be up there. I don't have to say that. So we'll see how to do against United. I might be offering my reaction to that. But yeah, hopefully you guys stay tuned for that. But all in all, a very confidence-boosting performance for Arsenal. And a slight, it's a setback for Tottenham, but Conte needs to start using this game now and other performances before this, because I can't lie, a defeat was coming for a while now. Now that it's happened, you have to hope that Conte makes some changes. Either, playing the 3-5-2, even like playing the 3-5-2 more often, and making certain tactical changes and selecting certain players, because honestly, it's just one player. It's Emerson. And I don't know what Conte sees in him or what kind of stuff we see in training that he somehow can't apply. But I've never seen Emerson beat a man the whole time he's been at Tottenham. I've never seen him put in the absolute perler of a cross. I've never seen him put a crispy cross in my life. Yeah? I've never seen him like play a 1-2, off around the defender or something like that. I don't remember seeing that. Like, offensively, he's just so limited. You can tell he's a few years behind in terms of that, in terms of his development, in terms of where he needs to be for a club like Tottenham, and he's more of a traditional right back. And so you think naturally a right back should be able to adapt to right wing back, but Emerson's proving to you all that it's not as easy as it may seem. Yeah? But we're not going to put this all on Emerson, even though he did not help. The red card, personally, to me, was a bit sus. Van Dijk completely stomped on Onana's ankle and got a yellow. All we ask for as fans is consistency. All we want is for the decisions to be consistently made across different contexts. The way that Anthony Taylor was treating the first half of the game, he wasn't giving fouls easily. So why he completely changed tone in the second half and started giving yellows and reds, I don't know. I can't tell you. But GG Arsenal, innit? Them ones there. GG Arsenal. Tottenham have to pick themselves up, get rolling for the next game. I believe Arsenal are playing Liverpool soon, and this could be an excellent time to play them because as you guys might already know, the 3-3 draw against Brighton, the Trossard masterclass where he absolutely cooked Trent. It's looking good. They just have to try and keep their head and keep focused and take it game by game. But we all know that when Arsenal start to play more games in a week, they start to get overwhelmed. So let's see if Arteta has learned his lesson. But I think I'm going to end it there. Hope you guys enjoyed this little reaction. I might make one for the Manchester derby as well. You know what I mean? But yeah, catch you guys in the next episode.
Mini Laje.